Picture this: a blanket of snow, the biting wind howling like a wolf, the kind of cold that seeps into your bones and makes every breath feel like a challenge. The landscape is a vast white expanse stretching out as far as the eye can see, with the occasional silhouette of a tree or a rock breaking the monotony. The wind is relentless, whipping up the snow into swirling patterns that dance across the ground, creating an almost hypnotic effect. As the sun begins to set, the sky transforms into a canvas of breathtaking colors. Hues of orange and purple blend together, casting a surreal glow over the snowy landscape. The sun, a fiery orb, slowly dips below the horizon, leaving behind a trail of fading light. It's a moment of serene beauty, a stark contrast to the harshness of the environment. I found myself stranded in this frozen wilderness, miles from civilization. My only companions were my wits and a few essential supplies. The realization of my isolation hit me hard. There was no one to call for help, no nearby shelter to retreat to. It was just me against the elements, and I had to rely on my survival skills to make it through the night. This wasn't a movie set or a controlled environment. There were no safety nets, no second takes. This was the unforgiving wilderness of the Alaskan backcountry, a place where nature reigned supreme and humans were mere visitors. The stakes were high and the margin for error was slim. The Alaskan backcountry is known for its beauty, but also for its brutality. The snow-covered mountains and vast open spaces can be both awe-inspiring and intimidating. As night approached, I knew I was about to face one of the most challenging nights of my life. The temperature was dropping rapidly, and the wind showed no signs of letting up. The temperature was plummeting, and I knew that finding shelter was paramount. Without adequate protection from the cold, hypothermia would set in quickly. I scanned the area for any natural formations that could offer some respite from the wind, but there was nothing. I had to create my own shelter, and I had to do it fast. Hypothermia was a very real threat, and I had to act fast. The first signs were already setting in: uncontrollable shivering, numbness in my fingers and toes, and a growing sense of fatigue. I knew that if I didn't find a way to warm up soon, my situation would become dire. Every minute counted, and I couldn't afford to waste any time. I remembered a survival technique I'd learned years ago: building a snow cave. It was a simple yet effective way to create an insulated shelter using the very snow that surrounded me. The idea was to dig into a snowdrift, creating a small cave that would trap my body heat and protect me from the wind. It wasn't a perfect solution, but it was my best shot at surviving the night. Using my ice axe and a lightweight shovel, I started digging into a snowdrift, shaping a small insulated cave just large enough for me to crawl inside. The work was exhausting, but it kept me moving and generated some much-needed body heat. As I dug, I focused on creating a smooth, rounded interior to minimize the risk of collapse. Every scoop of snow brought me closer to a safe haven. It wasn't much, but it was a sanctuary from the elements. Once inside, I could feel the difference immediately. The wind was no longer biting at my skin, and the temperature, while still cold, was more bearable. I huddled in my makeshift shelter, wrapping myself in my emergency blanket and rationing my supplies. The night was long and unforgiving, but I knew that as long as I stayed inside my snow cave, I had a fighting chance. That night in Alaska taught me a valuable lesson about the importance of planning and preparation. The wilderness is unforgiving, and being unprepared can turn a beautiful adventure into a dangerous ordeal. As I sat by the campfire, the cold creeping in, I realized how crucial it was to have a well-thought-out plan and the right equipment. Before venturing into the wild, it's crucial to research your route, check the weather forecast, and pack the right gear. Understanding the terrain and potential hazards can make a significant difference. A detailed map and a reliable compass are indispensable tools for navigation. Checking the weather forecast helps you prepare for sudden changes in weather, which can be life-threatening if you're caught off guard. A good map and compass are essential for navigation, while a first aid kit can be a lifesaver in case of injuries. Knowing how to use these tools effectively is just as important as having them. Take the time to familiarize yourself with your map and compass, and ensure your first aid kit is well stocked and tailored to your specific needs. This preparation can be the difference between a minor inconvenience and a major emergency. Always pack extra layers of clothing, a waterproof shelter, a fire starter, a knife, and enough food and water for your trip. Extra clothing helps you stay warm and dry, while a waterproof shelter provides protection from the elements. A fire starter and knife are essential for creating warmth and preparing food. Organizing your food and water supplies ensures you have enough sustenance to keep your energy levels up throughout your journey. Never underestimate the power of knowledge. Learn basic survival skills such as building a fire, finding water, and signaling for help. These skills are not just for emergencies, they enhance your overall experience and confidence in the wild. Building a fire can provide warmth, cook food, and signal for help. Knowing how to find and purify water is crucial for staying hydrated. Signaling for help with a mirror or smoke can attract rescuers if you find yourself in a dire situation. These skills can make all the difference in a survival situation. Practicing them regularly ensures you are prepared for any unexpected challenges. Setting up an emergency shelter quickly can protect you from harsh weather conditions. Using a compass and map accurately can keep you on the right path. By honing these skills, you not only increase your chances of survival, but also enrich your outdoor adventures, making them safer and more enjoyable. In the wilderness, shelter is your first line of defense against the elements. It protects you from wind, rain, snow, and even the sun. Without proper shelter, you are exposed to the harsh conditions that can quickly lead to hypothermia or heat stroke. Whether it's a snow cave, a makeshift lean-to, or a simple tarp shelter, the key is to use the resources around you. Look for natural formations like caves or overhangs that can provide immediate protection. A tarp shelter is versatile and can be set up quickly. Use ropes or paracord to secure it between trees and make sure it's angled to deflect rain and wind. Having a roof over your head can mean the difference between life and death. It not only keeps you dry, but also helps retain body heat, creating a microclimate that is warmer than the outside air. Staying warm is equally important, especially in cold environments. Dress in layers to trap heat and regulate your body temperature. Each layer serves a purpose. A base layer to wick moisture, an insulating layer to retain heat, and an outer layer to block wind and rain. Always keep a dry set of clothes in your pack. Wet clothing can rapidly decrease your body temperature, so having dry clothes to change into is crucial. Store them in a waterproof bag to ensure they stay dry. Learn how to build a fire safely and efficiently. Fire provides warmth, light, and a sense of security. It can also be used to cook food and purify water, making it an essential skill for survival. Fire provides warmth, light, and a sense of security. The crackling flames can lift your spirits and provide a focal point for your camp. Always gather enough firewood to last through the night. Remember, hypothermia can set in quickly, even in relatively mild temperatures if you're wet or exposed to the wind. Symptoms include uncontrollable shivering, confusion, and loss of coordination. Be vigilant and take steps to stay warm and dry. Regularly check your clothing and shelter for any signs of moisture or damage. Your survival depends on your ability to adapt and respond to changing conditions. Getting lost is easier than you think, especially in dense forests or unfamiliar terrain. Always carry a map and compass and learn how to use them effectively. Pay attention to landmarks and use them to orient yourself. Learn how to take bearings and follow a bearing. If you do get lost, stay calm. Retrace your steps if possible, or find a safe place to wait for help. Remember, the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. You can use this knowledge to get a general sense of direction. Section 5. Water, the elixir of life. Water is essential for survival. In the wilderness, finding safe drinking water can be a challenge. Learn how to identify potential water sources such as streams, rivers, and springs. Always purify water before drinking it, either by boiling, using a water filter, or treating it with water purification tablets. Dehydration can set in quickly, especially in hot weather or at high altitudes. Carry a reusable water bottle or hydration bladder and refill it whenever possible. Section 6. The challenges of finding food in the wild. Finding food in the wilderness requires knowledge and resourcefulness. Learn how to identify edible plants, berries, and mushrooms in your area. Remember, never eat anything unless you are absolutely sure it is safe for consumption. Fishing and trapping can be effective ways to supplement your food supply, but it's essential to know local regulations and to use sustainable practices. In a survival situation, conserving energy is crucial. Focus on finding food sources that provide the most calories for the least amount of effort. Section 7. Facing fears and overcoming obstacles. The wilderness can be a daunting place, and it's natural to feel fear, doubt, and uncertainty, but it's in these moments of challenge that we discover our true strength and resilience. Embrace the unknown, push your limits, and never give up. Every obstacle you overcome, every fear you face, makes you stronger and more confident. Remember, the wilderness is a great teacher. It teaches us self-reliance, problem-solving, and the importance of respecting the natural world. Section 8. The transformative power of nature. There's something truly transformative about spending time in the wilderness. It's a chance to disconnect from the hustle and bustle of everyday life and reconnect with something bigger than ourselves. The wilderness has a way of putting things into perspective. It reminds us of our place in the grand scheme of things and instills a sense of awe and wonder. Whether you're hiking through ancient forests, paddling down a winding river, or simply gazing up at a star-filled sky, the wilderness has a way of soothing the soul and inspiring the spirit. Section 9. A call to adventure and conservation. I encourage everyone to experience the beauty and wonder of the wilderness. But with this privilege comes a responsibility to protect and preserve these wild places for generations to come. Practice leave no trace principles, minimize your impact, and be a steward of the environment. Support organizations working to conserve wildlands and advocate for policies that protect our natural heritage. Let's all do our part to ensure that future generations have the opportunity to experience the same sense of adventure and wonder that we feel when we venture into the great outdoors.